So we are seeing some fantastic club open coxless fours. Thames Rowing Club A crew, they are so strong. We saw London Rowing Club A crew, their neighbours, earlier have a comfortable victory over St Andrews. How will Thames Rowing Club get on against the French crew from Club l'Aviron de Vichy?
Well, the Thames crew are for sure favoured here. I think one of the favourites in the event, but Vichy went incredibly quickly off the start, rating very, very highly. So we'll just see if they can transition onto a nice base pace and maintain or extend that lead. I have to say, I think my money would be on Thames getting back on terms at some point, but we shall see.
Yeah, they do look smoother. I mean, you know, the chef de nage, Louis Droisseur, that's the stroke man. It took them off at a very high pace. 29-year-old. Behind him, he's backed up by Ivan Bov, the brother of Claire, the Olympic silver medalist in the lightweight women's doubles from Tokyo. He's a 12 times French champion, but, you know, it kind of just happened, as you said it, Stan, that that aggression, that aggressivity off the start. The French knew what kind of quality crew they were up against, and they threw everything in, for the first 40 strokes.
It's true. It actually happened a bit quicker than I thought it would. That, you know, Vichy went off incredibly quickly, and then almost as soon as that had happened, Thames got back on terms, seemed already to be really in control of this race quite early on. And by contrast to the French with that quite punchy staccato style, Thames just seemed to be very smooth, very locked on, really nice, sustainable race pace. Always easy to say it's sustainable from outside the boat, but it does look like that.
Yeah, well, they've got Xander Smulders, the Dutch coach of Thames. He's got a great style. He's got even more Henley wins as a Thames coach, 11 of them under his belt. And there we see, look, Alex Wood, the 23-year-old in the bows, Joe Stubbs, George Pryor, and Callum Bentley in the stroke seat with that cap on, came here and rowed for Durham University First Aids, and he's competed in 7 Henleys. That's a sensational amount of experience.
That is huge, and I can see between the crew, they've got 18 previous Henley appearances here. The French, for their part, have 8, so they've got a good amount of Henley experience too. But it seems to be that experience as well as that smoother style that is just showing for Thames here.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this French crew here, and you can see blades going a little bit at the catch, just not quite gripping the water as much as they like at the front ends. I think they're going for a bit more for rating rather than kind of poise and just sort of pinch the boat at the front end.
That does seem to be the case. It works for some crews. Famously, I think the Italian fours always like rating really high and go very fast at either end of the race, and are not the quickest through the middle, but manage to just about stay on terms. But it's not working for this crew right now, but it might have been the right decision for them. But Thames, I do think, are at another level here.
Yeah, they are at another level, and this Thames Rowing Club crew, well, they comfortably beat Sheffield and Upper Thames to get this far. They're not down as low in terms of rating as they were against those crews.
You can't. One thing about a bucket rig, it's a little bit unforgiving. You can just see the 3-man and the 2-man a little bit out of time there. 3-man consistently ahead of the 2-man, which is probably not something you'd necessarily notice in a traditional rig, but it doesn't seem to be holding them back here at all.
Yeah, if we've been really picky, I think, in terms of where they square the blades, the 3-man squares his blade for the front end before the 2-man, and that makes it look a little bit out of sync, but it's kind of working in a way that they are really crushing any opponent they seem to come up against in the early stages of this regatta.
You're right, Martin, and I think some of the best coaches, a gift they have is knowing when to exercise caution and discretion as to when and when not to make a change in their athletes. If it works for them, even if it doesn't look perfect, sometimes you're best just leaving it be.
So Thames Rowing Club A crew come up to the finish line. This race is in the bag. They've done the work pretty much through the second part of the first 500 metres. They moved away from the French, and they take a very well-deserved win. They wait for the French crew from Vichy to come across the line, and in that heat of the Wyfold Challenge Cup, Thames Rowing Club A crew beat Club d'Aviron Vichy of France.